Here we go.
Hey, good morning, Andy.
Well, good morning to you.
How are you today, sir?
Things have gotten off to a slow and slightly clumsy start, but at least they're going.
Very good.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, my friends. God's blessing upon you. Let's praise the Lord together, my friends. We have all awakened and got shelter. Now we've come to praise His name together. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, my friends. Sing Hosanna.
Hosanna.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Allow in the sanctuary of our Lord's protection and the stronghold of our Lord's defense. With His love, our spirits are illumined as we glorify His name. Our hearts are blessed. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good
My
morning.
friend.
My friend.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Good morning.
my friend.
My friend.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, everyone. How's everyone doing out there? Let's see who's in our Zoom. Good morning, Andy, and good morning, Camby's, and good morning, Farah. And we know that lurking there in the background is Jeremiah, keeping us all technically straight. And good morning to everyone out there in Facebook land. I'm going to take a close look. I see some names there already. I just want to see who those people are. Let's see. Brenda Scott. Oh, and Camby's is coming in both streams. Hello, Brenda. How you doing out there? How you doing today, Daryl?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm a little frazzled, man. I really am. I'm a little frazzled. I am. And I missed a note on that song. You know, my little ping. I missed the ping.
I never.
You didn't notice the ping?
I didn't.
The ping. I went to hit the ping, so I'm going to hit the ping. There we go. I would feel better having having hit the paint. And I thought about it all the way through the rest of the song. I'm like, I need the paint. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and start with a prayer, as we always like to. This is a prayer by Baha'u'llah for blessings and nearness to God. I beseech thee, O my Lord, by the remembrance of thee, through which all things have been raised to life, and through which all faces have been made to shine, not to frustrate the hopes I have set on the things thou dost possess. Cause me then by thy mercy to enter beneath thy shadow that shadoweth all things. Be thou, O my Lord, my sole desire, my goal, mine only hope, my constant aim, my habitation, and my sanctuary. Let the object of mine ardent quest be thy most resplendent, thine adorable and ever blessed beauty. I implore thee, O my Lord, by whatsoever is of thee, to send from the right hand of thy might that which will exalt thy loved ones and abase thine enemies. No God is there beside thee. Thou art alone, my beloved, in this world and in the world which is to come. Thou alone art the desire of all them that have recognized thee. Praised be God, the Lord of the worlds. And again, this is a prayer by Baha'u'llah. I like that line, be thou, O my Lord. It sounds like it could be a song. O my Lord, my sole desire, my goal, mine only hope. Anyway, I think that's a beautiful prayer. And as, of course, today we are, this prediction is not an accurate, might not be an accurate prediction. I'm thinking next week might be our last week in this book. What do you think?
No, I think we got probably a couple,
Maybe 2 more weeks?
couple more weeks.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. But we are so close to the end. And, of course, we are reading from Shoghi Effendi's Advent of Divine Justice. And I want to go ahead, this is not a spoiler alert, but as we progress to the end of this book, there are a lot of positive things that are said. And there are things that can kind of, not so positive. And much as it's still relevant today. And much of how things turn out, shall we say. Because this is a story that's still not finished.
That's right.
It is ongoing. But as for our time, because this is about our time, even though this was written in 1938 and it's for that time, it's still relevant today. The way things go depends so much on how we react to this revelation.
That's right.
And so, Daryl.
So, for reference, for those of you who are following in the book, in this version of the book, we're on page 70, near the bottom, where it says, "Vie ye with each other in the service of God and of his cause. This is indeed what profiteth you in this world, and in that which is to come. Your Lord, the God of mercy, is the all-informed, the all-knowing. Grieve not at the things ye witness in this day." Grieve not at the things ye witness in this day.
Yeah.
The day shall come whereon the tongues of the nations will proclaim, the earth is God's, the Almighty, the single, the incomparable, the all-knowing. Blessed is the spot, and the house, and the place, and the city, and the heart, and the mountain, and the refuge, and the cave, and the valley, and the land, and the sea, and the island, and the meadow where mention of God hath been made, and his praise glorified. The movement itself from place to place, when undertaken for the sake of God, hath always exerted, and can now exert its influence in the world. In the books of old, the station of them that have voyaged far and near in order to guide the servants of God hath been set forth and written down. I swear by God, so great are the things ordained for the steadfast, that were they so much as the eye of a needle to be disclosed, all who are in heaven and on earth would be dumbfounded, except such as God, the Lord of all worlds, hath willed to exempt. I swear by God, that which hath been destined for him who aideth my cause excelleth the treasures of the earth. I swear by God, that which hath been destined for him who aideth God, may cause excelleth the treasures of the earth. Whoso openeth his lips in this day, and maketh mention of the name of his Lord, the host of divine inspiration shall descend upon him from the heavens of my name, the all-knowing, the all-wise. On him shall also descend the concourse on high, each bearing aloft a chalice of pure light. Thus hath it been foreordained in the realm of God's revelation, by the behest of him who is the all-glorious, the most powerful, by the righteousness of him who in this day crieth within the inmost heart of all created things, God, there is none other God besides me. If any man were to arise to defend in his writings the cause of God against its assailants, such a man, however inconsiderable his share, shall be so honored in the world to come that the concourse on high would envy his glory. No pen can depict the loftiness of his station, neither can any tongue describe its splendor. Please God, ye may all be strengthened to carry out that which is the will of God, and may be graciously assisted to appreciate the rank conferred upon such of his loved ones as have arisen to serve him and magnify his name. Upon them be the glory of God, the glory of all that is in the heavens and all that is on earth, and the glory of the inmates of the most exalted paradise, the heaven of heavens.
I'm stopping you there, Daryl. That's a lot, man. That's a lot. I think, well, first of all, I mean, you know that based on some things that I have said in the past, sometimes in private, sometimes here, that I really need to pay attention to that line where you began, and near where you began. Grieve not at the things, grieve not at the things ye witness in this day.
That's right.
Man, that's so tough.
It is.
Grieve not at the things ye witness in this day. The day shall come whereon the tongues of the nations will proclaim the earth is God's, the Almighty, the single, the incomparable, the all-knowing. It is so hard to read that, so difficult, and accept it and take it to heart when we see what's going on in the world today. I mean, I don't know about you. I'm speaking on a very personal note here.
Of course.
You know, but when the nations, when the tongues of the nations will proclaim the earth is God's, the Almighty, the single, the incomparable, the all-knowing. And then that wonderful, beautiful verse that all Baha'is have heard or probably know by heart, blessed is the spot.
That's right.
Yes, blessed is the spot and the house and the place and the city and the heart and the mountain and the refuge and the cave and the valley and the land and the sea and the island and the meadow, where mention of God hath been made and his praise glorified. And sometimes I read that and I say, did he leave anything out? Anything that was left out was covered with spot. You know, blessings. So yeah, we have to really remember that we have to take heart. We also have to remember that we're not, anyone who's working in this cause is not working alone, even if they feel like
Absolutely.
it. You know, and that is also something that, on a personal note, I need to remember, that there is spiritual aid, that is always there, waiting to assist. That which hath been destined, I swear by God, that which hath been destined for him who aideth my cause, excelleth the treasures of the earth. Whoso openeth his lips in this day, and maketh mention of the name of his Lord, the host of divine inspiration shall descend upon him from the heaven of my name, the all-knowing, the all-wise. On him shall also descend the concourse on high, each bearing aloft a chalice of pure light. I mean, I think sometimes
That's a reward. That is an extreme reward. And that's the way I see this. All you have to do is open your mouth. All you have to do is, say the word of God. And there is a reward for that.
Yeah.
And this is it.
Yeah. I think that whole thing about us moving away from the world can make us more conscious of these,
Right.
invisible, intangible rewards, and yet they're still very real. Yeah. So I just wanted to kind of bring attention to that. Yeah.
O people of Bahar. O people of Bahar, that there is none to rival you is a sign of mercy. That there is none to rival you is a sign of mercy.
Mm.
Quaff ye the cup of bounty, the wine of immortality, despite them that have repudiated God, the Lord of names and maker of the heavens. I swear by the one true God, this is the day of those who have detached themselves from all but him, the day of those who have recognized his unity, the day whereon God created with the hands of his power divine beings and imperishable essences, every one of whom will cast the world and all that is therein behind him, and will wax so steadfast in the cause of God that every wise and understanding heart will marvel. There lay concealed within a holy veil and prepared for the service of God a company of his chosen ones, who shall be manifested unto men, who shall aid his cause, who shall be afraid of no one, though the entire human race rise up and war against them.
Mm.
These are the ones who before the gaze of the dwellers on earth and the denizens of heaven shall arise, and shouting aloud acclaim the name of the Almighty, and summon the children of men to the path of God, the all glorious, the all praise. The day is approaching when God will have, by an act of his will, raised up a race of men, the nature of which is inscrutable to all save God, the all-powerful, the self-subsisting. He will, ere long, out of the bosom of power draw forth the hands of ascendancy and might, hands who will arise to win victory for this youth, and who will purge mankind from the defilement of the outcast of the ungodly. These hands will gird up their loins to champion the faith of God, and will, in my name, the self-subsistent, the Almighty, subdue the peoples and kindreds of the earth. They will enter the cities and will inspire with fear the hearts of all their inhabitants. Such are the evidences of the might of God. How fearful, how vehement is his might.
Mm. Wow.
Good place to interject a song.
Interject a song.
Yeah.
He wants me to interject a song here. Well, before we interject this song, I want to reread that. I just want to repeat that the day is approaching when God will have, by an act of his will, raised up a race of men, the nature of which is inscrutable to all save God, the all-powerful, the self-subsisting. A race of men. A new race of men.
New race of men.
Little child, don't worry about the trouble that you see. There's gonna be a new race of men. A new race of men. race of man. Can't you see that from the east shines a bright light, bringing peace? A new name, a brand new light. In the darkness, no more night, and the new race of man.
New race of man.
A new race of man.
A new race of man.
New race of man.
A new race of man.
New race of man.
A new race of man.
Little child, see the sun, bringing justice. Mankind will be one. There will be a new race. A new race of man.
New race of man.
There's gonna be a new race of man. Little child, hear what I say. There's really gonna be a better day. There's gonna be a new race. A new race of men. There's gonna be a new race of men. Can't you see that from the east shines a bright light, bringing peace? A new name, a brand new light. In the darkness, no more night, and a new race of men. A new race of men. New race of men. New race of man. Little child, don't you worry about the trouble that you see. Gonna be a new race. Gonna be a new race. Gonna be a new race. New race of man. I always get the urge to take the guitar and slam it on the floor after that, but
I'm so glad that you don't.
new race of man. A new race of that is such a promise, though.
Yeah.
I mean, raise up a race of men, the nature of which is inscrutable to all save God. Wow. Okay.
One more word in conclusion. Among some of the most momentous and thought-provoking pronouncements ever made by Abdu'l-Baha in the course of his epoch-making travels in North America, in the North American continent, are the following.
Stop. I just want to bring everybody's attention. Maybe everybody's listening, but if they have not been listening, if they were distracted for a moment, they got to listen to this. This is coming from Abdu'l-Baha, but they got to listen to this.
May this American democracy be the first nation to establish the foundation of international agreement. May it be the first nation to proclaim the unity of mankind. May it be the first to unfurl the standard of the most great peace. And again, the American people are indeed worthy of being the first to build the tabernacle of the great peace and proclaim the oneness of mankind. For America hath developed powers and capacities greater and more wonderful than other nations. The American nation is equipped and empowered to accomplish that which will adorn the pages of history, to become the envy of the world, and be blessed in both the East and the West for the triumph of its people. The American continent gives signs and evidences of very great advancement. Its future is even more promising, for its influence and illumination are far-reaching. It will lead all nations spiritually.
Will lead all nations spiritually. You know, there's something that I think we need to point out is, again, this is Shoghi Effendi quoting Abdu'l-Baha. As you know, Abdu'l-Baha passed away in 1921.
Right.
Okay, and he came to the States in what, 1912.
1912, yes.
So he's saying this at that particular time, and during that year, I think it was here from April to December of 1912. And it's a wonderful blessing, but it also, you know, he's, I guess it's, there's a thought here, I just can't formulate it as far as what I want to say. He's saying you can do some great things. And again, this is just me, again, no authority, but it seems like he's saying you can do some great things. You have the capability
Exactly.
to do great things. You have he said the American nation is equipped and empowered to accomplish that which will adorn the pages of history, to become the envy of the world. And I think we need to put this in some historic context. At the time, America was not considered a world power.
That's true.
That's right, it wasn't. Okay, so this is very prophetic. And someone put something in the chat. It already went away, but I kind of want to see that. I'm wondering if someone else could read to us what's in the chat. I'm just wondering. But again, the American nation, it's like, okay, we're seeing there's like some glimmerings there. The American continent gives signs and evidences of very great advancement. Its future is even more promising, for its influence and illumination are far-reaching.
And we still have yet to live up to that promise.
You're right. That's one reason I feel it's so important. You know, it's like we go 2 steps forward and 1 step back, or is it 3 steps forward and 2 steps back? Yeah, but obviously, here is Abdu'l-Baha, the son of Baha'u'llah, who is saying, you all have great potential.
Absolutely.
And certainly, in material ways, a lot of that potential, we can't deny, has been realized.
Yes.
It has been.
Yes.
But he also says it will lead all nations spiritually.
Right.
And I don't know, we can leave other people, we can leave everyone to think on that for themselves. I just feel that it deserves a little more attention. So I'm shutting up again.
Okay.
Well,
you can read the next section. The next section here that we're getting ready to read. Tony's book doesn't have subtitles. Mine does. This next section for me is titled "The Destiny of America."
You know something, as you pointed out, my book does not have subtitles, but this is an oversight on my part. You know what they did with the subtitles in your
They
book?
put them in
They put it in the content,
table of contents.
which I had looked at the table of contents, but just glancingly, and I had not noticed. Those are the subtitles. But
Right.
anyway, now that we're near the end of the book, good to know. So anyway, continuing, this is back to Shoghi Effendi. The creative energies mysteriously generated by the first stirrings of the embryonic world order of Baha'u'llah have, as soon as released within a nation destined to become its cradle and champion, endowed that nation with the worthiness and invested it with the powers and capacities and equipped it spiritually to play the part foreshadowed in these prophetic words. The potency, these prophetic words being, again, a reference to what we just read from Abdu'l-Baha, the potencies which this God-given mission has infused into its people are, on the one hand, beginning to be manifested through the conscious efforts and the nationwide accomplishments in both the teaching and administrative spheres of Baha'i activity, of the organized community of the followers of Baha'u'llah in the North American continent. These same potencies, apart from yet collateral with these efforts and accomplishments, are on the other hand insensibly shaping, under the impact of the world political and economic forces, the destiny of that nation and are influencing the lives and actions of both its government and its people. So we're kind of getting into politics a little bit here. I think I think we need to give folks who might not know as much about the Baha'i writings. We need to point out that in the writings, Baha'u'llah says that every time a manifestation of God comes, there is this, I don't know what to call it.
Surge.
Okay, well that, but also a release. Oh,
Right.
surge. You said surge, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I said surge. But yeah, a surge of what? Spiritual energy, creative
Absolutely.
energy. It affects everything. And, that's not to say that, I'll just leave it at that. There is this release, this surge, as Darrell said, of spiritual energy that affects the comings and goings, the doings of mankind. And I don't know, would you say it's a neutral force? This is just me
No,
talking here.
Not neutral, it's pervasive.
It's pervasive, okay? But
And far from neutral.
I guess it depends on what mankind decides to do with that energy.
Right.
We can use it for positive and not so much. I think of it, I remember hearing someone talk and comparing it to the blessings of God being like the rain. And that actually is based on something that's been said that's in the writings. I don't remember where, but it's like the rain. It falls on everyone. And even if you have an umbrella, you're still going to get kind of wet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, these same potencies, apart from yet collateral with these efforts and accomplishments, are on the other hand, insensibly, you can't feel it, insensibly shaping under the impact of the world political and economic forces, the destiny of that nation, and are influencing the lives and actions of both its government and its people.
That needs to be our cutoff point.
Say that again.
That needs to be our cutoff point today.
That needs to be our cutoff point. Man, it's still early. You think that needs to be our cutoff point? Notice how my voice is getting up there like 2 octaves high. Man, that needs to be our cutoff point.
Right.
We can't throw in like one more paragraph.
Maybe one.
The next paragraph
Yes.
is huge, man.
Yes.
Do you see all this underlining?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I get a little too excited about this. I apologize. To the efforts and accomplishments of those who, aware of the revelation of Baha'u'llah, are now laboring in that continent to their present and future course of activity, I have in the foregoing pages sufficiently referred. So if it says I've already talked enough about those things. A word, if the destiny of the American people in its entirety is to be correctly apprehended, a word should now be said regarding the orientation of that nation as a whole and the trend of the affairs of its people. For no matter how ignorant the source being capitalized, a reference to God, to the manifestation of God, for no matter how ignorant of the source, and I said that differently, for no matter how ignorant of the source from which those directing energies proceed, and however slow and laborious the process, it is becoming increasingly evident that the nation as a whole, whether through the agency of its government or otherwise, is gravitating under the influences of forces that it can neither comprehend nor control, is gravitating towards such associations and policies wherein, as indicated by Abdu'l-Baha, her true destiny must lie. Both the community of the American believers, who are aware of the source, and the great mass of their countrymen who have not yet recognized the hand that directs their destiny, are contributing each in its own way to the realization of the hopes and the fulfillment of the promises voiced in the above quoted words of Abdu'l-Baha. I can't believe you weren't going to include this. Voiced in the above quoted words of Abdu'l-Baha. And notice this is saying you don't have to know about it. It's still happening. You don't even have to be working in favor of it. It's still happening. these things are going to happen and are continuing to happen. I mean, we can speak in future tense from the time that it was written, and we can speak now. And this gets back to, again, I know it's time, but that whole thing about, to get back to, what was that section, that line? Grieve not at the things ye witness in this day. Grieve not at the things ye witness in this day, because good things are still happening. And now, thank you for indulging me that. I'm like, I can't believe he's not. Well, folks, at this particular time, as always, we are going to, this is the time we like to allow anyone who wants to offer a prayer or a song or reading of your choosing to share. And as always, we like to start with our Camby's moment, followed by our Andy Murphy moment. Camby's, do you have something to share with us today?
Sure.
Right.
O friend, in the garden of thy heart, plant not but the rose of love, and from the nightingale of affection and desire, loosen not thy hold. Treasure the companionship of the righteous, and eschew all fellowship with ungodly. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Camby's. Andy, do you have something to share with us this morning?
Yes.
Please.
A moment ago, a prayer was read, and I put that prayer to music. Blessed is the spot and the house and the place, the city and the heart and the mountain, and the refuge and the cave and the valley, and the land and the sea and the island, and the meadow where mention of God hath been made, and his praise glorified. Blessed is the spot and the house and the place, the city and the heart and the mountain,
Thank you so much, Andy. Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to share a prayer?
This is a prayer for America. O thou kind Lord, this gathering is turning to thee. These hearts are radiant with thy love. These minds and spirits are exhilarated by the message of thy glad tidings. O God, let this American democracy become glorious in spiritual degrees, even as it has aspired to material degrees, and render this just government victorious. Confirm this revered nation to upraise the standard of the oneness of humanity, to promulgate the most great peace, to become thereby most glorious and praiseworthy among all the nations of the world. O God, this American nation is worthy of thy favors and is deserving of thy mercy. Make it precious and near to thee through thy bounty and bestowal.
Thank you, Farah. Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to share? Well then, let me reposition our Facebook streaming camera. Give me just one moment for that, please. And Daryl, you want to tell them where all of this comes from?
Well, all of this is not happening in a vacuum. This is a shared responsibility that we've taken on from several communities. It's not just Tony's community or my community. It is. We do this through the auspices of the Clearwater Baha'i Center, and so it's a joint effort based on that, and through Facebook. Mm-hmm. And for anyone, it's about the faith, and anyone who is interested in learning more about the faith, there are some definitive websites that you can check out. And they are www.baha'i.us, www.baha'i.org. And if you happen to be in the Clearwater area, you can always go to the Clearwater Baha'i website, which is clearwaterbaha'is.org. And one other that is not listed on our list there is www.bahaiteachings.org.
Yes. And all we're doing, when you get right down to it, is the same thing that Shoghi Effendi is telling the believers back in 1938. I mean, we might not be traveling down to South America, but we're doing what Shoghi Effendi and Abdul Baha and Baha'u'llah all said.
Absolutely.
We are all supposed to be doing, and that is teaching the faith. And we've had a little time, don't we?
Yeah, just a couple.
Yeah. I keep thinking about that song, "New Race of Men," and how it's based on, that statement by Baha'u'llah, that quote by Baha'u'llah about, a race of men will be raised up. And of course, when we think of it in this day, we think of it as a race of humanity.
Right.
Far be it from me to correct or supplant the words of manifestation of God, but just to make it a little more, I don't want to say palatable, but in today's language. But still, it's just as important that we understand that even, again, if we look at the news and so forth, it's easy to think the world is just going nuts.
True.
And I guess we could almost say that about almost any decade. It's just that I think at least a part of it is, because of us having access to so much information, along with which things are, I think, getting pretty crazy. But we're able to hear a lot more of it. And at least I can only speak once again on a personal level. That's one reason that these writings give so much encouragement and so much relevance to the importance of reading the Word of God, to the importance of trying to live with spiritual principles in mind,
Absolutely.
and of course to the importance of not giving up hope.
Right.
And
Right.
understanding that this might not be the good part of the plan,
Right.
but
But
things
this
are
is-
not as
But this is also not the time to throw in the towel.
exactly. It's like we read earlier. Even people who don't know that what they are doing is still a part of the plan, and I kind of stutter on saying that because it might seem like, okay, we have no choice. No, we have choices. The point is whether we want to be on this is like a train moving forward, and whether we want to be on the good side of it or the bad side of it, it's still going to be moving forward,
Right.
because it's still within the will of God,
Right.
And of course we can't always see the from day to day what how it can apply, but it does. It always does. I think I'm going to turn that up just a tiny bit, just a tiny bit. Test. Okay, there we go. And it'd probably be a good idea for me to get this queued up too, instead of running my mouth so much. I just, I'm sure you can tell that some days, and today is one of them, I get a little more excited or inspired by some of these readings. And I've said it too many times, I'll say it again. I am so glad you recommended this book. And having said that, we still haven't decided on the next book, but we're looking at several possibilities, and maybe next
Yes.
week or week after we will have made a decision. But we're going to go ahead and continue this, even though there are times when I say, I don't know. But we're going to continue this. Yeah.
Well, before we do our last song here, I have to say what I say to you every week, and that is, if you want to improve the lives of everyone around you and your communities, the one thing that you can do that will cost you nothing is to share the love. And that's the only thing I ask for you to do over the next time period, whatever that time period is.
It is incumbent upon every man in this day to hold fast unto whatsoever will promote the interest and exalt the stations of all nations and just governments. Through each and every one of the verses which the pen of the Most High hath revealed, the doors of love and unity have been unlocked and flung open to the face of men. We have erewhile declared, and our word is the truth, consort with the followers of all religions in a spirit of friendliness and fellowship. Let your vision be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Oh, oh. Oh, people of justice, be as brilliant as the light, and as splendid as the fire that blazed in the burning bush. The brightness of the fire of your love will no doubt fuse and unify the contending peoples and kindreds of the earth. Whilst the fierceness of the flame of enmity and hatred cannot but result in strife and ruin, we beseech God that he may shield his creatures from the evil designs of his enemies. He verily hath power over all things. Let your vision be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Oh, oh. Be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Watch over yourselves, for the evil one is lying in wait, ready to entrap you. Gird yourselves against his wicked devices, and led by the light of the name of the all-seeing God, make your escape from the darkness that surrounded you. Let your vision be world-embracing, rather than confined to your own self. These are the words of Baha'u'llah. Be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Oh, oh. Have a good week, folks.
Thank you all for coming.
Take care.